Welcome to Musings by Danon. Today we're going to look at two delightful manga series that seem similar on the surface, but are actually quite different once you dive into the actual story and themes. Both series are ecchi, meaning there's a lot of fan service, but no actual on-page sex. Both series have characters you'll absolutely love, and both are about a young girl getting into cosplay and dragging a boy along with them. Before we get started, please like and subscribe for more content. The first series is 2.5 Jigen no Yowaku by Hashimoto Atsushi. The title translates to English as 2.5D Temptation. This series follows the story of Amano Lalisa as she enters the world of cosplay along with her senpai, Okamura. Okamura is the president and only remaining member of his high school's manga club. He's your typical otaku, plays video games, watches anime all day, etc. He hates real, or 3D women, and has devoted himself to his waifu, Liliel, an anime character that only exists in the 2D world. A few days after a new school year, Lilisa pops into the club room and impresses Okamura with her otaku knowledge to the point that he invites her to join the manga club. She requests that he become her photographer as she begins her cosplay journey and changes into her Liliel, the same Liliel that they are both obsessed with. Okamura finds himself wavering. Sure, turning down 3D girls is easy for him, but can he still keep his feelings in check over a 2.5D girl? Someone who brings his beloved anime character into the real world? The second series is Sono Bisque Doll wa Koi wo Suru by Fukuda Shinichi. The English title is My Dress-Up Darling, and 3 volumes have been officially translated, with a 4th coming in June. This one follows the quiet, socially traumatized Wakana Goju. Goju, an orphan who lives with his grandfather, loves Hina dolls. His grandfather paints the faces and Goju sews the costumes. One day, while working in a new dress for a Hina doll, Goju's sewing machine breaks. So he brings the dress to school to finish it in the home economics room. He sits down, starts sewing, and Kitagawa Marin enters the room. Marin is the class Gyaru. Beautiful, blonde hair, long nails, outgoing and sociable. The exact opposite of Goju. She wants nothing more than to cosplay a cute character from an eroge, an adult video game. For Marin, though, the problem is her complete lack of crafting skills. So she decides to hire Goju to make a costume for her. Right off the bat, you can see there's a lot of similarities between 2.5D Temptation and My Dress-Up Darling. Both manga have a girl who loves ecchi and eroticism. Both manga have a supportive boy helping the girl accomplish her dream. Both manga are very ecchi and have well-drawn and strikingly beautiful characters. Both manga focus heavily on a new cosplayer getting into cosplay. Both manga have a boy who is working on recovering from trauma. But that's where the similarities end. In 2.5D Temptation, the core theme of the manga is a boy getting over his trauma of hating real women and only feeling safe enough to express love and devotion to 2D girls. Because he's now got a 2.5D girl in front of him, someone who is both an anime character and a real person at the same time, he's starting to get over his trauma. Okamura and Lilisa bond from their mutual love of the same character. In My Dress-Up Darling, though, Goju hides the fact that he sews dolls for his grandfather's shop due to some childhood trauma. When he was younger, he shared his love of Hina dolls with a friend who made fun of him for liking girly stuff. This caused him to hide his feelings and not really open up to people. Now that he's in high school, he doesn't have any friends at school, and the only time he has a conversation is with his grandfather or the dolls he's working on. And then along comes Marin, outgoing, outspoken, lives life to the fullest and caring not a whit what other people think of her. Things start off a little rough between them, but through Marin's superior communication skills, she's able to smooth things over and they start to become friends. 2.5D Temptation makes use of standard ecchi gags. Stuck zippers, girls falling out of their clothing only to be caught by their breasts by unsuspecting boys, childhood friends willing to do ecchi stuff so their crush will finally notice them. It's all there. There's nothing wrong with ecchi stories, and 2.5D Temptation is definitely on the comedy side of the rom-com spectrum. Nosebleeds abound as Okamura-senpai takes picture after picture of his kohai in erotic clothing and erotic poses. Although My Dress-Up Darling also has several ecchi scenes in the manga, the focus is on challenging gender roles. There's a single line in Chapter 2 that basically jumpstarts Goju and Marin's relationship. They've just met, and are in the home economics room, Marin has shown off her disaster of a cosplay to Goju. Marin explains how she wants to cosplay as Shizuku-tan, a slave character from an eroge. Goju thinks she's joking with him, but after a very in-depth explanation from Marin, he sees that she's dead serious and absolutely loves this character. Despite that, he wonders aloud, "I thought that women hated that kind of game." In response, Marin looks Goju in the eyes and says, "The things you like aren't related to whether you're a boy or a girl, right?" This becomes the core theme of the manga, with more and more characters realizing the truth behind Marin's statement. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, do what makes you happy. Bring more joy to the world. If you partake in activities that bring you joy and fill your heart with happiness, that happiness will spread. Because of Goju's blossoming relationship with Marin, he's able to break out of his shell. It's a slow process because he's been traumatized for so long, but eventually he starts to open up more. Especially when it comes to sewing, he's in his zone and has no problem holding a conversation, even with a girl as beautiful as Marin. With 2.5D Temptation, the characters encounter other cosplayers and clash with them. It's got the same feel as a shonen battle manga, but instead of punching each other, they win by attracting a larger crowd of photographers by getting into character as much as possible. Instead of Nakama powers like a lot of other shonen series, or we won through the power of friendship, instead 2.5D Temptation solves problems between characters with the power of cosplay. I'm not saying this to be negative, simply that it is part of the series. There are scenes later on where Lilisa is cosplaying Liliel and makes friends simply by embracing her character like it's some sort of finishing move in a tournament arc. There are even power rankings for rookie cosplayers. With all of that in mind, the first time Lilisa goes to a cosplay event, she forgets to pack a couple things. She starts to break down and cry. The other girls in the dressing room rally to her and help her out. It's a delightful and heartwarming scene. Watching people welcome newbies to their community, helping them out without asking anything in return, encouraging them and giving them tips without being condescending was one of my favorite moments so far in the manga. As far as the romantic element is concerned, both Lilisa and Okamura have convinced themselves that the feelings they are developing for each other are really just their love of cosplay and all things ecchi. There's no way otaku like them could ever love a real person. After all, they both love Liliel, so it's obvious these new feelings are just because they started cosplaying, and there's no way they could actually be falling in love with each other. My Dress Up Darling has a lesser but recurring theme of characters coming out of their shells. They use cosplay as a way to express themselves, and to show their love for the medium of anime, manga, and visual novels. So many times throughout the series we see people struggling to put their feelings and thoughts into words, but through the medium of cosplay they're able to express themselves. For example, there's a pair of sisters, one small and cute and the other one tall and voluptuous. As is often the case in manga, the tall and voluptuous one is younger by several years. Goju notices that the younger sister tenses up when she's asked if she wants to cosplay, especially after Marin and the older sister agree to do a photo shoot of two characters from the same series. The younger sister doesn't know how to express that she wants to cosplay as a boy from that same series, as he's her favorite character. Goju works with her to cosplay as a boy, which helps the two sisters bond and understand each other. Even though Marin has been helping Goju come out of his shell and improve his communication skills, he still lacks confidence in a lot of things. But he's not the only one. Marin starts falling in love with Goju fairly early in the series. She realizes it when she observes the conversation about her costume between Goju and his grandfather. Watching Goju speak with confidence about a topic he's passionate about causes her Gyaru heart to go doki doki, and she realizes she really
loves him like lols.
But she's too scared to tell him. She's extremely confident in a lot of things, modeling, fashion, talking with friends, but she seems inexperienced in the ways of love and doesn't know how to bring it up to him. Goju also seems to be falling in love with Marin as the manga progresses, but he doesn't think he's worthy of her. She's confident, beautiful, self-reliant, and cool under pressure, while he's a dork who makes costumes for dolls. He's awkward, tall, and unathletic. There's no way he could ever be worthy of her. What he doesn't realize is that everything he can do, cook, sew, and do precision makeup from his practice painting doll faces, are all things that she values highly. All in all, both series are great. If you want a fun, ecchi rom-com with heavy shonen influence, you should check out 2.5D Seduction. The series is fun, and I'm always excited when a new chapter comes out. That being said, My Dress Up Darling is one of the best manga I've ever read. The writing is phenomenal, the artwork is top-notch, the characters are lovable and relatable, and the themes of the manga are something that resonate with me. If you want a great series that is heartwarming, funny, and ecchi, check out My Dress Up Darling. After recording this video, there was an announcement that we will be getting an anime adaptation of My Dress Up Darling. I'm very excited for this anime and can't wait to watch it. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'd like to thank my editor Cute Stuff for helping me put this video together. Also, I'd like to thank my special guest Ashley for providing some cute sound effects. Tune in next week for more content.